I can say without hesitation that my guest today is one of the most talented people in New York City. And in a city of 8.6 million residents, I realize that sounds like hyperbole, but I really mean it. And while, of course, I haven't personally heard all of those people sing, I do consider myself fairly entrenched in the world of musical theater at least. And from the moment I first heard Mykal Kilgore sing, I knew in my bones that he had something spine-tinglingly special. I'm not the only one who felt that way. Billy Porter, yes, that Billy Porter, the Tony, Grammy, and Golden Globe winning icon, heard Mykal sing years ago and took him under his wing. Knowing Billy, it may have been a literal wing. Did you see his feathered dress at the Golden Globes the other day? Oh my gosh, but I digress. Billy Porter mentored and shepherded Mykal, who was living in Nashville at the time after growing up in Florida, to New York, where he's been striving, thriving, and performing his ass off ever since. On Broadway, you may have seen him in Memphis, The Book of Mormon, and Hair. On TV in The Wiz and Jesus Christ Superstar. He also recently starred in the gorgeous City Center production of Jason Robert Brown's Songs for a New World, which you can find on all music streaming services. And speaking of music, Mykal's new album, A Man Born Black, out now, is incredible. It's a little bit R&B, a dash of reggae, and all soul. The vocals, the lyrics, the production, the message, all beyond beautiful. It is my honor to have one of my favorite performers of all time in the studio today, Mykal Kilgore. Welcome to Laura Heywood Interviews.
So this is how you're going to intro me and expect me to just talk like it's normal.
What did I say that wasn't true?
It was just incredible. And my head is just swimming right now. The smile on my face is making it hard to talk. That's incredible. The only thing is that I wasn't in Memphis, even though I should have been.
Oh, what was your third show? You were in...
I was Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon.
Motown, the musical.
Oh, it was Motown! Shoot!
And that's how, it's very easy
I
to
wrote
get
this
those
from
mixed
memory.
up. Oh my God, you did?
Yeah. And
Wow.
I just switched them in my head. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, Motown, not Memphis.
Okay.
Even though I wish I was in Memphis.
You should have been.
I wanted to play the Gator so
Yeah,
bad.
that's what I was going to say.
Right.
So Derek Baskin, who played Gator, he's the most incredible performer, nominated for leading actor for Ain't Too Proud. The character of Gator doesn't say anything for like 2/3 of the show, and when he
finally does, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much acting in that silence.
Right.
I was like, man, it would be so cool to like do something where people are like, when is he gonna bust out? And I'm like, you gotta wait for it.
Yeah. Well, and also I remember the first time I saw Memphis was in previews, didn't know anything about it, didn't know the character Gator, and I thought, oh, they must have this guy didn't have to sing for his audition, because I didn't know Derek Baskin at the time either.
Right.
It was one of his first roles on Broadway, I think.
Yeah. He was in, what I remember him from is Little Mermaid.
Right. But that came after, didn't it?
No, that was before, because
Was
he was either Flotsam or Jetsam.
Yeah.
But that was before, because it was him and Tyler Maynard.
Yeah, Tyler Maynard. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just forget what the timeline was. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that would be a great role for you. And I have obviously dreamcast you into it.
Well, thank you.
Who did you play in Motown?
I was the lead singer of the Temptations.
Oh.
And I was
Which is the Derek Baskin role in Ain't Too Proud.
Well, he's not the lead singer. He was like...
Oh, right.
Right. So
I've got it all messed up today.
I was the lead singer of the New Temptations. So, oh my God, why am I forgetting his name right now?
Ephraim Sykes?
No, I would be who St. Aubin plays.
Okay, got it.
So that, which is like so funny because he is perfect for it, and I was faking it till I made it.
No.
And then I understudied Stevie Wonder, which if you heard Ryan Shaw do it, you understand why I was the understudy.
Well, I can't imagine anybody with a better voice than
Honey,
yours.
You need to Google Ryan Shaw.
Well, I mean, I've listened to the album. I've listened to the Motown album. I didn't see Motown the first time it was on Broadway. I saw it when it came back.
Oh, you saw the Care Bear Cousins version.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like the tour made a stop on Broadway.
Mm-hmm. That Motown experience, I always say I survived Motown.
Oh.
Because it was like being at boot camp, like musical theater boot camp.
Was that your Broadway debut?
No,
because
Hair
was
my
first.
Hair was my debut. But Motown was so challenging in ways that really grew me up as a performer because I was working with the best of the best, especially when it came to Black Broadway. It was, I would say there's a show every year that is the Black yearbook of Broadway. You know, like if you made
It's
it
too
into
bad
the
we
show.
can't have them spread out over more shows. Wouldn't you say?
I would love that. I would love for us to be in shows where it's not like, look at the one Black guy
Or
on
the
stage.
one Black show.
Or the one Black show.
Like I love Sutton Foster, but Maid Marian and Music Man could be Black.
I don't even want to get too deep into that because that was almost hurtful to see that cast list come out because I was like,
Music Man is very,
first of all,
very
why are we doing Music Man again?
Yeah.
Even though it's like a very beloved musical, I'm just interested in. There's so
Well,
many.
the answer is that Hugh Jackman sells tickets.
Well, Hugh Jackman does sell tickets, which is why it's like take a risk. Why not do do musical?
Right.
Why not have somebody
or do
spectacular?
something really unusual with the
Really
like
unusual,
Oklahoma,
yeah.
right? Like I would have said, why are we doing Oklahoma again?
I definitely
and
said,
then
why are we doing it? Then I saw it.
and I was like, this is why we're doing it again.
It is strange in the way that theater needs to be weird.
Yeah.
To me, to excite
be able
me.
to take a show and not change a single word and yet change the complete understanding of the context.
Right.
That to me is why we do revivals.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did not mean that to be a like my mission is never to cut down anybody's art.
Right.
I always want to advocate for more diversity and more sort of silenced voices having space in the theater. And I will always spend more money to go see a show that features performers of color and performers where there are differences of ability and so you know and different gender identities, and that always inspires my purchasing choice. But I don't find joy in like talking about the shows that I think shouldn't be on Broadway. I tend to sort of flip it and talk positivity.
Yeah.
So again, I did not mean to take us down the road of bashing anything.
Yeah, it's not about bashing or tearing down. It really is just like we can't act like we don't see it.
Right.
You know, so that's where I am right now in my life, where I'm like, okay, let's at least not pretend like everything's all okay.
Oh, I'm not.
And you can hear that really in the writing of A Man Born Black. It's like my purpose is not to sugar over my life or sugar over my experience. It's to go, okay, well, this is what it is. It's honest.
There's actually a song on the track called "Pass Me That" that I feel like. That's the one that says, does anybody think I've committed a crime?
No, that is...
I've got him confused. Damn it. Okay, I'm just going to say, the show is live. This is the kind of thing that if it was pre-recorded, we would edit out and I'd sound smarter than I am. But I like doing it live because nobody's as perfect as an edited interview sounds. I'd rather be relatable.
Like, why would you do Facetune over this wonderful interview? Like, let's do it.
I've listened to this album so many times, and the first 2 times I listened to it, I listened straight through. I wanted the story. And then I started hitting shuffle. And so I know the lyrics and I know the song titles, but it's all one big beautiful masterpiece to me.
I am not mad at somebody who is just loving the album and is like, what's the title? But I know all the lyrics. Yes, you win.
Okay, great. So wait.
The song is Zimmerman, for Zimmerman.
Oh, right. That is a very political song.
Yes.
And it is, I didn't mean to cut you off in your own description of the album, but we were talking about blackness and how your album speaks very, like, specifically and very out loud and proudly about what it is to be Black.
You know what? As I was writing it, my goal was to be as honest with myself as I could be. And it was a terrifying process because I didn't know if people would be open and available to the truth of my life. And in doing that, I had to distill my message down to like, who am I? And that's what the title is, A Man Born Black. And my musical theater background really informed it because I remember thinking about, I'm not sure if it was an interview or if I was in a class and someone was talking about the musical Sunday in the Park with George. And Stephen Sondheim had all these ideas of what Dot and George would be. Dot was supposed to be a soprano. George was supposed to be a baritone. And then he cast Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters. And it changed. and it became very specific. Dot is so Bernadette, George is so Mandy, and because of that specificity, those are two roles that everybody wants to play. They're so clear, they're so nuanced, they're so fleshed out. I would love to see a Black George. I'd love to see an Asian George. I'd love to see a Hispanic Dot, a Black Dot. Any race could do it. Any look, any type could do it. And as I finished the album, I was nervous that it would be like a Black album in a way that puts a hand to other people and says, no, this isn't for you. And I'm finding that people now go, as much as it's a man born Black, it's a woman born white. It is a trans person born worthy. It is a woman born Hispanic. Like, it's all the things, because
it just might not be a straight cis white man born privileged.
Well, the thing is, like, I think that there are it's human. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful opportunity to humanize my Blackness and not to just politicize it, not to weaponize it.
Yeah.
And in this album, I feel like I and my team did a wonderful job of like telling a story that's human.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be what Sidney Poitier needed to be in his time. He needed to be perfect.
Right.
And he is. And I didn't feel the need to play something that I wasn't. I didn't have to act on this album, which was.
And you're a remarkable actor.
Well, I appreciate that. And it was nice to be able to do something that felt like me through and through. And the responses I've been getting from people have blown me away, because I think a lot of people are seeing themselves in it, like songs like My Name, songs like Let Me Go. Everyone's like, you have just hit me to my core with these things. And, my goal is not to make the people cry. But I do want you to think, and
Just
I do want you to feel.
the tone of your voice makes people cry. Should we let people hear a little bit of it?
You know what? I would love that.
Okay. How about My Name?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. This is a song called My Name. It's from the recently released album, A Man Born Black by Mykal Kilgore.
Just fine. I keep pace. Then you say my name. Then you say my name. And I just light up like a flame when you say my name. From sunrise to midnight, I run things, then you say my name, then you say my name, and I start falling like the rain when you say my name. Say it. Something I can't explain. The refrain is you say my name. Oh, you say my name. And I feel like a child again when you say my name. When you say my name, say it. When you say my name, when you say.
Oh my gosh.
You like it?
I love it. I love it. And that's what, when I was like, it's pure soul, like that's an example of like an R&B soul, you know, you could like, I feel like it belongs underneath a candlelit dinner.
I feel like it belongs underneath some covers, actually. Like that
okay, yes.
That is my song.
Well, that's what happens after the candlelit dinner.
Yes, when the candles burn out. That's where it goes.
And then there's also some like really danceable stuff on the album.
Oh my gosh, yes, we got some good like grooves on there.
What was the word that you used to describe it entered? It's like
edutainment.
Edutainment. Yeah.
And, there are a few tracks on there where I, wanted to use another musical theater tool, which is, that spoonful of sugar. Mm-hmm. I tend to say that the heavier the material, the message, the lighter the music has to be.
Yeah.
Because I want to trick you into taking this hard to receive message in, or it has to be really, really beautiful to hear. I think a wonderful example of that is there's a song by Frankie Beverly called "Before I Let Go," and the song is about a breakup. It's like not good. It's not a good feeling message, but the music is so fun. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like a really fun dance thing, and it's like before I let go. Every barbecue I've ever been to in my entire life plays it, and you're like, this is a breakup song, guys, and it sounds literally like somebody pour me another one. You know what I mean? So that's that kind of heritage of songwriting is what I was like, okay, let's see if we can keep this going. Let's see if we can keep the party moving.
The song that I think of when I think of that is Kelly Clarkson's Miss Independent. People
Yes.
play it as a female empowerment song, and it's like, yeah, Miss Independent. But the lyrics literally say, what happened to Miss Independent? It's about how she no longer has her independence. And yet it's on every female empowerment album because the tone is so...
It's so strong. Well, Kelly has that thing.
Oh, yeah,
And
she
Kelly,
does.
if you're listening, I want to be on your show so bad.
We'll send her this.
Come on, Kelly, please do it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you'd be amazing on that show.
I just want to sit with her. You know what I really want to do? I want to sit with her and just somebody fill the table with good old soul food and let us sit and eat and chat.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's the girl I want to just like eat some wings with.
Well, do you have somebody like putting you out there, like pitching you to her show?
I do.
Okay, good.
Honestly, my manager is like a one-stop shop. He is a guy that I met when I was in college at Florida State University. He went to FAMU, literally across the railroad tracks from me. And he is one of the smartest, most tenacious, most interesting, and wonderful men. His name is David Hargret, and he manages me. And he does more than just manage me. He's like my therapist, my play boyfriend, like all the things that I need to like get me through this like crazy career. And he's amazing. Like the first person to cry when like I do something good. Like,
I love when you can bring people, when you can grow with somebody.
Yes.
It sort of feels like the professional equivalent of marrying young
Yes.
and hoping that you grow together instead of grow apart.
Right.
I think of, do you know what a money tree is?
yes.
It's this tree that has like 4 or 5 trunks that you braid, they grow braided together. And I think of professional connections that start like when you're in college or even when you fall in love with your high school sweetheart.
Right.
You grow like 2 organisms that are the same tree.
My producer for my album went to Florida State with me.
Wow.
So it's like it was a family reunion to do that. But speaking of that whole money tree idea, I have a friend who said, "Now don't wait too long to get married now." And I said, "What?" He's like, don't wait too long. He's like, you getting harder and harder every year. And he was like, it's not just you, it's all of us. And I'm so thankful that like a lot of my musical relationships were when I was young and wildly open. And I was blessed enough to be around geniuses. I didn't even know it. I had no idea that they were genius. I had no idea that they were so so incredibly available to collaboration. And as I got older, those friendships never went away. They never even softened. And I'm like reaping the benefits, you know, now as I'm, you know, securely in my 30s. You know,
Speaking of somebody who is fairly recently into my 40s,
looking good too.
Thank
Looking
you.
good,
Yep,
girl.
she's doing good. I'm like having a rebirth of that young self. I feel younger and fresher and more available to relationships than I ever have in my life. Like the fact that I dyed my hair pink when I was 40, it was because I felt like I was 18 again. And I was like, I'm not held back the same way I was in my 30s. I may have gotten harder and harder every year, but something clicked. And I don't think it was about turning 40, but I think that it just happened for me and how secure I was and how hard I'd been working on myself for all these years. And now I'm like, okay, Mykal, I think we're breaking some news here. I am, for the first time in years, in a really happy, stable relationship.
Me too.
You are?
Yeah.
So, like, I say, don't do it too early. Don't do it too late. Like,
Do it when it's right.
yes.
Do it when it's right.
And
Well,
if it's right when you're 60, do it then.
Well,
and if
I
it's
mean-
not right before that,
don't do it.
yeah.
Well, what's crazy about me is that I am like I'm a serial saboteur. Like, if things get too good, I'm like, Lord, when is the shoe gonna drop? Like, I need to get out before it gets too bad. And my poor boyfriend has like been there as I'm like starting therapy for the first time in my life, as I'm like doing all this work and like taking all the crap out of like the house that is my life. And he's like seeing me change and grow and like loving me through it and going, it's, you know, it's bad, but it ain't that bad. Like,
Oh,
we're
yay.
gonna be okay.
Can we double date?
Oh my God, that would be, he would love that. He always feels like I'm hiding my friends from him. But I'm like, you want to go out at night? My friends are at a show.
Yeah.
If you would like to do something at 10 a.m., then they'll be available.
Oh my gosh. Mine says, I was like, he was dealing with me in a very particularly emotional place the other day. And I was like, I'm such a mess. And he goes, but you're my mess.
Oh, see, he was.
And I was
he was
like,
doing, you need to put on my name when he says that again.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll be like, skip the candlelight dinner. Yeah, no, that was like, to me, that I carry that around whenever I'm like, how could anybody love this crazy mess? I'm like, because it's the right mess. Like,
You know what? I feel like for me, it was when I finally spent time alone and was like, I'm cool with this. I really like myself. I enjoy myself. I don't, because for me, there was always an underlying feeling of like, I don't really feel good enough. I don't really feel pretty enough. I don't feel interesting enough. And then once I was like, that's a lie. I am all these things. I felt like the right kind of relationship showed up.
yeah,
And even at the beginning of it, I was like shaky on it.
I agree in that, like, I was at the best I'd ever been when this relationship came along. Weirdly, it was somebody I've known for years, and just suddenly we saw each other differently.
Right.
But I feel I feel like I have a responsibility to say that there's no specific rule, because for so much of my life, people would say things like, well, as soon as you like yourself enough, it'll happen, it'll come along. And I'd be
Right.
like, I like myself. People would
Right,
say
right.
like, maybe you need to focus more energy on like your personal passions instead of trying to find love all the time. And I'm like, I'm not trying to find love all the time. I have more personal passions and more investment into them than anybody I've ever known.
That I know for sure. That I do know for sure.
There is no equivalent of clicking your heels together 3 times and saying there's no place like home. There are people who do everything right and it still doesn't happen. And I think that when, like, every person I met it felt like they were telling me there is a magical prescription, and it was either you're not putting yourself out there enough or you want it too badly, which conflict. And I feel the need now that I found somebody to not say, all I had to do was stop wanting it.
Right.
Because I will say that I never stopped wanting it.
Oh my God. People who say that they weren't looking, you guys are so full of crap. Like, yes, you were.
It may have not happened the way you were looking for it to happen.
But here's the thing. Like, I don't believe that people want to go into a space that isn't a space. Like, if you have opened up a space for someone to like come in, like, of course people are going to want to come into the open space. Like, that to me makes sense. I don't think that there are too many people who like are so villainous that they're seeing you closed off and they're like, I'm gonna fight my way in.
Right.
Like,
well, and dating apps wouldn't exist if you couldn't fall in love when you wanted to.
Right. I think a lot of people are sort of like,
impossible.
if I can fall into it, then, I mean, and I'm not mad at anybody who's like, well, you know what? Like, if I fall into it, like it happens. Like right now, I'm just gonna like see what it's gonna be. But as for me in my life right now, I spent a lot of time being like, well, we'll see. Mm-hmm. That's not how I feel right now.
I wish somebody had said to me, instead of people saying to me over and over, like, it'll happen. It's out there. And then every year it didn't happen. I just felt more and more like crap. Like, it probably won't happen. I wish people had said, maybe you'll end up with somebody and maybe you won't, but your life's going to be amazing no matter what.
Right.
I feel like having a partner should be like having a pet. Like, if you meet an animal that's like your perfect fit, then like have it. But it shouldn't be the expected norm. Like it's right for everybody. I think for a lot of people, being single is fine and better.
You know what's funny? That is a really great metaphor because my boyfriend has a dog named Coco. She's an English bulldog. And when I first met her, I was terrified to the point of I was like, can she go in her crate? Like, terrified of her. She was always sweet. She always wanted to be near me. She always wanted to jump on me. And I was like, oh, I don't want you touching me. I don't want you around me. And the more I spent time with her, the more I was like, can she get out of her crate? Like, I don't like her in her crate. Can we get her a nice jacket? It's cold outside. She needs a new mat. Like, the more time I spent with her and saw her nature, I fell so deep in love with her to the point where recently we were in the house and like someone had bought her cookies for Christmas, like a little Christmas gift of like dog biscuits, and she ate one of them and like was throwing up, and I was like, something's wrong. So Brian, my boyfriend, was like, she's fine. Like, she's getting rid of the cookies. I'm throwing them away. She's gonna be okay. And I mean, I was distraught, and that has really been what it was like to date Brian. Whereas, like, I met him and I was like, I don't know, you're too nice, you're too this, you're too that. and little by little, like, his nature has not evolved. He is just as lovely and wonderful. And I think he's going to be mad that I'm, like, saying his name because he likes his quiet, private life.
I mean, it's a pretty common name.
It's really common, so I feel like no one's going to know. But like, that's what it's been. And it has changed me. I'm not sure. Maybe he's changed too. Maybe he has changed, but like it feels like he's pretty much like the anchor in the relationship, and I'm like kind of like going everywhere like, hey, having a party.
I love that this has just turned into a relationship podcast.
Well, this is going to be our new podcast. We're going to talk about our relationships. We're going to
cry. I think both of our partners would probably be pissed.
Oh, over it. We're going to do it under pseudonyms.
Okay. What would your name, your alter ego be?
It would be.
And is this, you're using a pseudonym for your partner or for you?
For me.
Okay.
It would be Mykal Kilgore.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Did you just come up with that?
I did.
Mine would be Lola Hexway.
Whoa. I actually like that, Lola Hexway.
I feel like they both sort of sound like Laura Heywood, Lola Hexway, Mykal Kilgore,
Mykal Kilgore. Well, it's just, just enough to, to like make sure the CIA's not on our backs.
Okay.
I guess. Maybe.
I hope the CIA doesn't have interest in like my relationship.
In our relationship podcast.
But you know what? Hey, listeners are listeners. Can we talk about the fact that you're going on tour so people can like find out when you're going to be in their city?
Okay, so this is what I call hashtag childhood dreams. Like 8-year-old Mykal Kilgore is doing cartwheels, flips, like splits.
You were
all
a
the
gymnast.
things. Oh, actually, when I was 8, I couldn't do any of that. But like, but the idea of it is so exciting. I'm going on tour. My first date is in New York City on the 18th of January at Le Poisson Rouge. Then I go to Nashville to City Winery on the 19th. Then the 20th, I'll be in Atlanta at...
You know these all off the top of your head.
Yes, I do. At Vinyl at Center Stage. Then on the 22nd, I go to Annapolis to Ram's Head Live.
Yes.
And on the 31st, I'll be at the Promontory in Chicago.
Jesus Christ. He's not using any notes for this. I'm looking at the website right now, but Michael knows these. Okay, what's after the Promontory in Chicago?
After the Promontory, I go to Philadelphia on the 7th.
Of February.
7th of February, and I'll be at World Music Live. No,
World Cafe
World
Live.
Cafe Live.
I'll give it to
World
you.
Cafe Live. That's the one I was like nervous. I have the best opening acts on the planet. Please go to mykalkilgore.com, MYKALKILGORE.com to find out all about the tour, to find the album, to follow me, to join my mailing list. I promise you, I'm not annoying. I don't send mailings out every week.
I joined your mailing list.
You did? And,
Yeah.
and have I been really kind and appropriate in my mailings?
I joined it today.
Oh, well, yeah, you'll see. You will see that it is going to be really appropriate.
I mean, the thing is, I just want to know when you're doing stuff. So.
Right. Only big news, only splashy things. It's not like, hey, you want to listen to the song again? It's like, no, that's what Instagram is for. Instagram is where I'm annoying. But every once in a while, like, you see shots of me in the gym and I look like really cute,
Of
like
course.
sweaty and like hot. But besides that,
subscribe. By the way, you didn't mention that you have 2 dates in March in Ohio.
I didn't. Oh, in Ohio, I am going to be at the Cincinnati Orchestra. No, Cincinnati. It's the Cincinnati Sound, but it's with the Cincinnati Orchestra.
Oh my
And I'm going to be
gosh.
singing songs of the Cincinnati Sound. If you guys don't know what the Cincinnati Sound is, it's lit. So get into that. It's like songwriters and singers from Cincinnati. I'm really excited because I'm going to be in that concert with a dear friend of mine, Morgan James.
Shut up.
That is one of the voices
I've known
of
Morgan
voices.
forever. Oh my gosh.
She's got that good Juilliard training from back when it meant something.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
That was a burn within a compliment.
Not for her.
No, not for her. Morgan and I grew up in the same area. We did not know each other as kids, but we have mutual friends.
Oh.
And you tell me if this is inappropriate to say.
Okay.
If you listened to her sing, you would not know that she was a skinny white lady.
Oh, that's exactly it. You may know that she's a white lady, but skinny would be the last thing you thought. You would think she was somebody who knows how to cook up collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken.
How does that voice come out of this, like, petite, tiny little thing?
Because black culture is lit.
I just don't know how physically she can have that, like, lungs big enough to hold that much
I
air.
will tell you this. We are the most imitated, the most, revered culture, I think, in the world. Black American culture is so spectacular. It's so rich. It is born. It should never have existed, and that it does is a miracle, and that it's so excellent is a miracle inside of a miracle. And I think that there are people who just have ingested it their whole lives, have sought after it their whole lives. And she, I think that she has a special gift for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But everybody's trying. She just happens to she hits way more than she has ever missed. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So to me, she's one of my favorite voices. I adore her. She's a dear friend, as well as she is an artist that I've already pre-ordered her new album.
I'm calling her today, and I'm going to get her on this show.
Oh, get her on here to talk about that album. I'm so excited. The way she did it is so cool, and I'm not going to say anything else because she's going to be on here.
I just want to clarify that I was not talking about culture when I was like, how does somebody like that sound like
Yeah.
that? I was talking about, like, the I was talking about like vocal cords and lung capacity.
Right.
Not about skin color or culture.
I just wanted to do a bigger conversation
Great.
about
Yes,
like
I'm here for it and
about
I
the
agree
sound.
with you.
Yeah.
I
So
agree with you.
so that's why to me the sound is, she has. I actually had a boyfriend when I was in college who did a dissertation about the sound of blackness, and it's something that is weird that you can actually hear, and he did it with opera singers. And had a listening test where you were to write, is this person black or not?
Wow.
And
That sounds dangerous.
it was really interesting. It was very, very interesting. And it wasn't dangerous. It was just about, there is a school of thought when it comes to training vocalists, especially like in the classical realm, that there are things that, Black American culture really reveres: gospel music, soul music, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't do that if you want to be a real opera singer. You should not. Those are the things we don't touch. And there are people who have proven that wrong, left and right and center. One of my favorites is Lawrence Brownlee, who has an amazing facility to do gospel and opera, and well, those are two things I've heard him do, so I know he can do them very, very well. And in his dissertation, he was talking about these are the things that have helped to grow a uniquely Black American sound out of people like Leontine Price, out of people like Grace Bumbry, and I'm about to get very nerdy, but
yeah, I don't know those names, but I'm glad that you're mentioning them so I can look them up. I know you're a fan of podcasts, as am I, and there was this incredible podcast series that the New York Times put out called 1619,
Yes.
which is about celebrating the 400th. Oh, that was wrong. Not celebrating, observing. Please forgive me. Observing the 400th anniversary of the beginning of American slavery.
Yes.
I am mortified that I used the word celebrating.
Well, I mean, commemorating.
It makes my skin crawl that word came out of my mouth. But episode 3 in particular is about how American music is Black music.
Yeah.
And it takes you through audio, step by step, through how slave songs built from African rhythms became pop music, like with specific examples, a direct line, and not just a direct line to Michael Jackson, but a direct line to, Britney Spears.
Oh,
and,
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
That even the whitest American music you can think of is still Black music, and would not exist if it wasn't for slavery.
I mean, my brand is kind of reclaiming, especially ever since my viral moment with Maxine Waters. And on the album, it was about me saying, I'm going to reclaim these genres and make sure that the music I'm putting out, even though you may not think it, it's all really Black ass music. And that was why there's so many wonderful Nashville country feels on the album. There are, folk feels there. I mean, of course, there's reggae feels and soul feels and all that. I wanted people to have to deal with the fact that this art that is so synonymous with Americana is built off of the ingenuity, the genius of Blackness, and I think that is it's beautiful to celebrate America in that way, in an honest way.
Should we hear a little bit of Reclaiming My Time?
Oh, I would not mind that at all.
So this is the gospel mix.
The gospel mix of
Reclaiming My Time, which you wrote based on Maxine Waters' famous
Reclaiming My Time viral moment.
Yeah.
When she used something that people have been using forever.
Sure.
But it was just the timing was right, the tone was right. Auntie Maxine does not play.
She would not be silenced.
And I loved it.
And this was your musical reaction to that moment.
You want to talk about the things I've done, but I'm reclaiming my time. Yeah. You want to speak on the battles I've won, but I'm reclaiming my time. Ooh, all right. Well, that's not why I brought you here to share it. I'm reclaiming my time. Yeah, don't read my resume, cause I was there. I'm reclaiming my time. Yes, I am. My time. Every minute. My time. Every second. My time. Stop talking. My time. Do you know the rules? My time. When it's my time. My time. I can take it back. My time. I'm reclaiming my time. Hey, what about the letter? Reclaiming my time. That I sent you way back when. Reclaiming my time. Give me the answer to my question. Reclaiming my time. Or don't open your mouth again. Yeah, reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Did you write this?
I did.
You wrote all the music.
Lyrics
Lyrics by Maxine Waters.
I literally was in my apartment about to take a train ride upstate and was like, oh, this would be, that just happened. I thought, oh, this would be so funny and silly. My friends would like giggle at it. And I did it, just on an app on my phone, got on the train.
If you watch it on YouTube, it's 6 different screens of you singing 6 different parts.
Right.
Which in itself is pretty remarkable.
I haven't listened to it the whole way in a really long time, but it is the ringtone on my phone.
Ah, that's
Still.
amazing.
And I was like,
I think it's the ringtone on Maxine Waters' phone, too. I mean, you guys appeared on TV together.
That was so amazing. Mind you, this woman is, her energy, it dwarfed mine.
And you have a lot of energy.
And I have a lot of energy. So, like, when I got to meet her, I was, like, blown back by the beauty, the energy, she was spectacular. I got on the train. By the time I got off the train, it had gone viral. And I was like, this is how the internet works. Okay, great.
Have you had any backlash from it?
No.
Good.
And I feel like if I would have had some backlash, I don't scroll too far down. Mm-hmm. When it comes to people's comments, I don't really care.
Good.
Because because the like, what is it called? Like the metrics.
Analytics.
Analytics. They don't know if it's a bad report. They just know that people are
watching. Sure. Yeah. But you also get people, whenever anything especially has to do with race, I feel like people, or politics, people don't, like, sometimes it goes beyond just leaving a negative comment.
Right.
Sometimes you can get threats and, like the trolls go crazy and their dog whistles about, going after people who stand up for even something as simple as just being like, let the woman talk.
Right. Let her talk. I am always amazed at like the political circus and how it works, because I feel like anywhere else, you either answer the questions correctly or you don't get to talk. Mm-hmm. Like the kind of cat and mouse of like, let me just run the clock out. No, ma'am. We don't do that. Mm-hmm. I need you to answer this question, or you can shut all the way up and go to jail. So I mean, I don't understand how that all works. I'm a lay person. Like, I'm the layest of lay people. So I just saw that moment and was like, oh, you remind me of my mom. You remind me of my aunt, of all these fierce, amazing women who, when I think of the saying, she persisted, mm-hmm. I think of her. Yeah. That's what I think of. It's like somebody who is going to say the thing and go, answer me. Like, be real with me.
I wear a bracelet I never take off that says persist on it. And it is those women who are speaking on behalf of all of us and for all underrepresented communities that remind me that you think I think I've got it hard. Like, I have a morning, I don't want to get out of bed at 7:00. Like, what about all these people who are so tireless? Right. And Maxine Waters is a hero.
My mom used to work at McDonald's when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this woman flipped actual burgers and dropped actual fries mm-hmm. to make sure that I could have the life that now, 30 some odd years later, I'm living. Mm. Honey, if we're going to talk about persistence, like, she is why it makes it easy for me to go, okay, 8 show week, let's do it, because mm-hmm. that is a breeze compared to that kind of thankless. Like, I do a job where people applaud me. Mm-hmm. They pat me on the back all the time. My ego is so well fed. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot about the people who loved me into being.
Oh, what a beautiful way to say it.
And the way the sacrifices they made, and the ways that they poured their life into mine to make sure. You know, and you know that level of persistence. It is such a persistence becomes a very female idea in my mind, because it's these women who just were like, don't give up, don't give in, you got this, keep going. You know, you're stronger than that, you're braver than that, you know better. And
we are all literally born of women's persistence. I mean, there is nothing like, and I can't speak from personal experience, but there's nothing like labor. There's nothing like the pushing a human being out of your body, out of a tiny hole in your body. And you know, I see people who are in labor for 36 hours.
I don't want to think about it.
And we are literally like, or just 9 months of having to like give yourself over to the literal building of someone beyond yourself.
My baby sister is 34 weeks, 36 weeks in. And her husband is like so excited. And she's like, I'm done. Get this baby out of me. And
my mom apparently tried to go home in the middle of labor. She was like, I don't want, when I was being born, she was like, I don't want this kid. Like, just leave it in there.
She's like, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm going home.
Like, I am like, I mean, my baby sister was like, I used to treat her like a little doll, like growing up. Like, she was like my little pumpkin, my little baby. And the idea that she's having a baby is like, what is going on? Like, I'm still so young.
Uncle Mykal.
Uncle Mykal.
Is this your first niece or nephew?
Nephew.
Okay.
And they've given him some kind of weirdo artist name that I can't even remember. And I'm like,
oh, don't say the name before the baby's born.
I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
I can't even remember the name. I just know that it was something like
Michelangelo.
It's like Stealth or something like weird. Like, it's so weird.
I thought you meant like an old artist.
No, it's like that. Like, his name is going to be like,
my gosh,
Pineapple.
Stealth Pineapple Kilgore.
You know, like something really weird. And I was like, okay, y'all, this is your baby. Y'all get to do what y'all want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, but that child will go to middle school. So enjoy that.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, you know what? Like, in this era.
Well, you know, it may be totally different because all the kids are going to be named Pineapple, Grapefruit.
That's right.
Know,
it's just kind of how, like, when we were growing up, people would be like, all these teenagers getting tattoos. What's going to happen when they're grandparents? And like now I see these suburban moms who have like 100 facial piercings and, you know, like, yeah, and they're all tattooed, but so is everybody. That's just what parents and grandparents look like.
That's
now.
what everyone's saying about like nudes.
Yeah,
they're like you're not gonna be able to judge anybody about their nudes because everyone has them.
I want to get to a little more music, and we don't have too much time left.
Okay.
I want to play For Zimmerman because this is the most outwardly political song on your album. I would say, would you agree?
I would say
like most directly.
It's a tie between that and Pass Me That, but I think maybe just the strength of this one, absolutely.
You're literally calling someone out by name.
Yes.
But you wouldn't know it from the way that it starts, and that's kind of my favorite thing. I start tapping my toe, and then the lyric comes in. So let's let people hear this song. I'm not going to say the name of it, although I said it a couple of times before. We'll tell you after.
Cold-blooded murder in the rain. You'll never get to see your baby again. He looks suspicious, you know the saying. You fool me once, you'll never live to do it to me again. These punks get off most every time. Who thinks I'm guilty of a crime? I tried to warn him with my stare. He started running like he didn't see me standing right there. Nobody told me to leave him alone, except the fool who I was listening to on my cellular phone. These punks get off most every time. Who thinks I'm guilty of a crime? Oh, say, can you believe that the sky has gone this far? All the housewives who watched didn't care enough
outrageous.
And now he wants to be relevant again. I'm like, go
George
away.
Zimmerman. The song's called For Zimmerman. Can we just listen to that intro again? Yeah. I want to just dance. This sounds like such a happy song. And then
cold-blooded murder.
Yes.
Oh shit.
In the rain. Yep.
You'll never get to see your baby.
And this was birthed because I wanted to write something for Trayvon so bad, because I'm from Orlando, and this was like my backyard. And as I was thinking of like how to write it, nothing would come, and I was like, this is my way in to like write it from this perspective, and just the brazen audacity of someone to like rob this child of. I mean, I hate the idea of a child like not getting to go on and grow up and turn into who they were meant to be. Like that just, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking that it's from where I'm from. And everyone's like, you're from Florida. That's not really the South. I go, I'll show you how South it can be.
Well, and like the fact that Trayvon and the Pulse shooting were like both Orlando.
Yeah.
And like that is your cross section.
That is exactly my cross section. And
so if anybody who's trying to tell you that you grew up in a place where
they
like
think
it was easy.
They think I grew up in Disney. And I was like, first of all, Disney's in Kissimmee. It is not in Orlando. And second of all, no place is all one thing. It's like saying California is Hollywood. It's not. It's just not. It's
and the
real.
fact is, it's not just LA and San Francisco either. Like California is thought of as that's where I'm from. It's thought of as a blue state, but most of California geographically is conservative. It's just that population-wise, everyone's centered in San Francisco and LA, where, and even LA is kind of conservative. I mean, like there's Hollywood,
right,
and then there's the Valley, and anyway. We don't have a ton of time left, Mykal. Let's remind people.
Happened?
We just like got
we
into it.
started talking about our boyfriends and things just went left.
But I do want to make sure that everybody knows that they can follow you. They can join your mailing list at mykalkilgore.com.
Yes.
Mykal
yes.
Kilgore. And that is also your name. Your first and last name is your Twitter and Instagram handle.
I try to make it so easy as long as you learn to put that Y in there.
And that K.
I'm easy to find. Mykalkilgore.
And I will be at the Le Poisson Rouge show on January 18th in New York City. You can see Mykal in Nashville on the 19th of January, Atlanta on the 20th, Chicago on the 31st. More dates at mykalkilgore.com. Should we close out the show with a little music? Anything else you want to mention before we go?
I'm just so thankful that you had me on here. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to 2020. This is going to be such a transformative year.
I can't wait. Should we listen to Let Me Go?
Yeah.
All right. Here's Let Me Go by Mykal Kilgore.
After all of this time, can't get you off my mind. Though I've tried, yeah, I've tried. And what hurts me the most is I can't give up the ghost for pride. Foolish pride. Oh, now can't you see? You've got your fingerprints all over me. So just let me go, 'cause I can't let go till you let me go. Maybe what I should say is I missed you today, for real, yeah, that's just how I feel. But when you keep in touch, though I love it so much, my heart doesn't have time to heal. Oh, what can I say? I can't move on with you here in my way. So just let me go, 'cause I can't let go till you let me go. Set me free, why don't you, babe? Let me be mine, don't you, baby? Don't keep me hanging on. It's so hard to do, but I think it's about time I should get over you. So just let me go, 'cause I can't let go till you let me go. Now I understand. All of this time I've been deep in quicksand. So just let me go. Just let me go, 'cause I can't let go till you let me go.